It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It is the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing? I know we're doing, yes.
Yeah.
We
hope everybody's doing okay out there. We're switching it up. Normally we kind of do, hey, what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy? But, we just had the Super Bowl here real recently, and there was a lot of trailers that were released during the show, and we kind of figured we'd spend some time and talk about some of the ones that came out and get everybody's opinions. How does that sound?
That sounds delightful.
Yeah, I know you're excited. I know. So, which one do we want to talk about first?
I think we should talk about the red elephant with the thunderbolt on his chest in the
So we're talking about Scream 6. Okay.
Scream 6. We kind of touched on this the other night, and I think Thomas has talked about it on Discord too. I don't know if that was private or... I'm surprised. I actually liked this trailer. I didn't really think I was going to, so now that I've actually seen what this story's about and everything else, I kind of understand maybe some of the choices that they made on this or didn't make on this. But I'm kind of excited. I'm trying to guess if there's a third Batman. I think we did talk about that last night. I think there might be.
Just to be
Curious
clear,
who that is.
We are talking about the Flash.
Yes, the Flash.
Okay.
Yep.
There was snark at the beginning, but the Flash was never mentioned, and I just want to make sure
Yes.
we haven't entirely lost the audience.
Yep.
What the hell is Batman doing in a Scream movie?
Right. That would be effing awesome, though, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yes.
I'd pay money. I'd go to the theater. This is me talking. I'd go to the theater for that.
Yeah, I'd actually be interested.
That would be interesting.
So.
Until they made like Ghostface the Joker henchman or something,
Because you can't not have Joker in it at that point, right?
Yeah.
Unless Ghostface has a stipulation in his contract that he can't lose a fight. So,
Oh, man. Yeah.
But do continue, The Flash.
Like I said, I'm surprised on the, or I'm not surprised. We've seen this storyline before. Barry wants to save his mom. That's always behind everything he does. But it looks like this time he really screws the timeline up. And that's what he keeps saying, I have to fix it. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you really need to, because there are so many cameos in this trailer that it's kind of like, wow, I'm wondering what was left out because they showed us so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that instead of Superman, they decided to go with Kara. That's a move we don't see very often.
Mm.
So I'm liking that.
Yeah, this is essentially Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I saw today, and bless this person's heart. He's obviously not a comic book reader. created a meme, and you've got these two guys and look like they're taking a test, and one's eyeing the answers off the other person, and they were saying, Spider-Man No Way Home, and then The Flash, and all the responses was like, hello, this is based off Flashpoint, the story that came out 10 years ago, you know?
Right.
So,
but not only that, how many times in comic books, television, everything else has Flash gone back into the past and screwed things up? Like almost all of them.
He's been doing it since the 60s, right?
It's just a Flash thing to do,
well,
you know.
I don't believe that it's accurate, but the whole thing, him going back to save his mom, that literally came from Flashpoint. I mean, that had not happened before. I mean, I don't even remember, unless maybe you can back me up here, the whole thing of Iris being killed. I don't remember Flash going back in time trying to prevent that. Did he?
No, he did not do that.
He just went after Reverse Flash and supposedly killed him, because there was a whole freaking there was a complete trial and he went to jail and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really was Flashpoint that started that off, and then unfortunately the TV series, this recent one with Grant Gustin, they went to that well way too many times. Okay, well, he fucked up the timeline, so he's got to go back and fix that. Well, he fixed that, but in fixing that, he screwed something else up, and it got kind of boring for that to happen. It's like, stop that, guys. Writers, please. There's other things you can do than have him go back in the past and try to fix an accident. There's so much other things you can do with this character.
Heroes in Crisis. That's kind of how they That's kind of how they ended that one too. It was him fixing his mistake that he made, which I don't know. I was liking that story until the last floppy on it. Mm. And that's when Flash came out, and it was like, what? He was dead. Where the hell did he come from? Yeah. But yeah, I've always seen Various kind of the goof up, maybe because he's a kid. Well, not a kid, but a young adult. And I've also, I'll be honest, I have read some of The Flash, but I've seen more of The Flash on TV than I have in probably the comic books, though.
Here's something that I have to deal with. And I'm not going to come out here and bash anything. It's something that I as a reader and a fan that I've got to deal with. The Flash I grew up reading he was an adult, say maybe 30s. He didn't really goof off. He was the straight lace. I mean, it was a stereotypical hero. So for them to kind of go back and kind of, I don't want to say de-age him, but I guess that's kind of what they've done. And now they make him a little bit more, he's going to make mistakes because he's human and that kind of stuff. Right. I'm not complaining about that. That's something, like I said, that's something I got to deal with. Now, the Grant Gustin run, I mean, I hadn't watched the series in a couple of years, but I'm not really watching TV at all. I've kind of made that clear over the past couple of years. But I liked the show when I did watch it. I liked him. I liked the character. I liked how he portrayed the character. And yeah, I mean, he didn't have all the answers. He would make mistakes, and that's fine. So I just wanted to say that because I kind of thought about that the other day of that handling of Barry, and then I think about I immediately come to mind of how Tony Stark was handled in the comic books before the first film. Up until the first film, he was almost the same thing. I mean, there was the whole thing with alcoholism and all that. That obviously made him flawed. But he didn't really have that kind of a personality. It was the square jaw type thing. And then here comes Robert Downey Jr. and giving that attitude and all of that he did with the character. And it's like the writers went, oh God, we got to incorporate it into the book because that's great. And that's how you see him now. You see him. That's how you see that character in the cartoons, in the comics, and all that stuff. It's just the smart ass, the attitude, and that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it actually added character to him. So, sorry for the rant.
Yeah.
I'm not fond of how they portrayed Stark. The smugness and the attitude I thought was way out of bounds because that's not the way he was in the comics when I read them.
Right.
He was, and just like Thor was not so supreme as a human, Don Blake was very flawed, and that's what to me was his big appeal. You don't have somebody that is just supreme over everybody else. And unfortunately, that's what I see with Thor now. I wish they would make him a little meeker, just because have him run over everybody and everything is not part of it.
Well, it seemed to me that was what the attempt was with the first film, was the kind of humility, which is kind of funny for a god to have to learn, but that seemed to be that was what the whole thing was supposed to be for. But then they turn around and just don't even think about that. They just for the future movies. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. They just tossed it out.
Because that was the whole thing with him losing the hammer, and Odin Odin whispering the inscription onto the hammer of that whoever be worthy can pick up the hammer and all that.
Yeah.
I mean that. Yeah. I don't know. My thoughts on the Flash trailer. Yeah, I've already said. I don't remember what I have said regarding this film because I've been concerned about the whole thing with Ezra and all that. But I did like the trailer. It was it kind of got me excited, and of course seeing Michael Keaton in the suit again, and of course they had to make it. They had to make him say the line, and I was like, they didn't really have to do that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think they gave us a lot but I think they knew they had to. They had to, with all of the bad that's been surrounding this film. I think they had to really be like, now we got to wow them. This is what, this is what's going to redeem this movie. Let's sock it to them. And there's a lot to cover in that trailer. I mean, a lot.
Well,
I'm just hoping it's not a case of where they've shown us the best of what the movie has.
I mean, I have been reading over the last couple of months. There's some sources, quote unquote. So take it for whatever you want to with that. That this is a really good film. It could do well. But yeah, there's been all the reshoots, cameos put in and then now they're taken out, and of course now with everything now with the new DC studios and everything going on there, we don't know what's going to happen with there. So there's all that. To say nothing about the troubles with Ezra.
Yeah.
The PR and legal issues with Ezra.
The nightmare they had.
So, they were going to.
Said he's seen it and it's good, and I usually like what he considers good, so I'll give it a shot.
Oh.
Which is so weird for me to say that about James Gunn, because I used to not like him very much.
He grew on
Y'all
you.
could probably pull some clips where I've said different.
So, Les, your thoughts. You're a DC guy.
Uh-oh. No, I was impressed. And I've seen some videos of how people break it down. And some of them are spot on. Some of the thoughts are questionable.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea that they are going to really branch out for this movie. Tossing all the information they have been playing with for so long and making us want the idea of a place where this different Earth, this different dimension is happening. And you think back with the first story, which was from the Flash comic book, Earth 2 being found, I thought was a major thing at the time, and to me it still is. Sorry to say, Marvel, you guys weren't the first to come up with a different dimension, a different Earth. And I know you played with it and have established one. But to me, DC did it first, and sorry, but did it better in the comics. Thing is, now will they succeed on film?
Yeah,
I'm hoping they do. They've done a lot of stuff that they can't be happy with, but hopefully this will grant them some solace, and we'll see what transpires.
Maybe a turning point.
I certainly hope. And with Gunn now shifting over to DC with the opening of The Guardians, which is in a couple of months. That's where he's going to break ties with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I can only see good things for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a force.
He is.
And because of it, DC will survive. And that's all you can ask for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with everything that's going on with the murders and all that still. How many months passed since that's happened and we're still seeing chips flying? Just, everything's still trying to settle. So yeah, they need something like this to kind of do well.
They need a win.
Yep.
They need a win. Yep.
I think they were hoping Black Adam was the win, but I think it was a little less win than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mikey, I'm curious your opinion of the trailer.
It was big.
Mm-hmm.
It looks exciting. Am I dying to go see it? No, not really. But
well,
but as trailers go, it was a good one. I will give you that. It was a really good trailer. They did a lot of selling in that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people will go see it now because of that.
Yeah.
It was a good trailer.
The trailer did its job.
Yeah, I think so.
You can't. If this movie bombs, it can't be because of that trailer.
Right.
That trailer did everything it was supposed to do.
Yep.
Did it give too much, though?
I think we have to watch the movie to know that.
I hope they didn't.
I kind of agree with Mike. I mean, but that's kind of the trend in trailers for forever.
Right. If it's a 2.5 hour movie and that trailer contained all of the important stuff in it, then
it's in trouble.
That'll be a bad thing. It will not do anything after week 1. But if there's more to it than that, I mean, they did give us a lot, but if there's still more to it than that, then I think they've probably got a winner on their hands.
Okay, let's talk about another trailer.
Well, speaking of James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, that one looked pretty good too.
Volume 3. Yeah.
3, yep.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. It sounds like it's the swan song for this particular group, and I guess that makes sense with Gunn moving over to DC. So if there's any other films, then it's obviously someone else is going to have to take it over. And boy, that's some big shoes to fill. But you could take it a different, because I mean, like Batista said, he's done. He's not going to do Drax anymore. But there's other characters, and you could take it in a different path. It doesn't have to be the quips every 2-3 minutes and that kind of thing. It could be a little bit more serious. A straightforward action adventure type thing. You could do something like that.
Yeah.
With some of the characters, if that's something they want to do, it's really going to depend on what the game plan is overall. But
seemed to me like this trailer really leaned on the quip thing.
Yeah.
It seemed a little.
Yeah.
The trailer seemed talky to me.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder how talky the movie's going to be.
Yeah.
And whether I'm interested in a talky movie.
Are you saying talkie or tonky?
Talkie.
Talkie. Blah, blah.
Okay. I'm like, what is tonky? I didn't see any cowboys.
Tonky's the talking tiger. Right, Les?
Yep.
Donkey. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Les.
I was going to say it looked like they leaned more toward Rocket than they did anyone.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Rocket's story.
And
yeah.
Cool.
And to me, they hit that without a problem. I just hope they can pull it off.
Yeah, because from what I understand, and the trailers kind of back it up, is they are saying that Rocket Raccoon was a creation of the High Evolutionary, who is the big bad for this film.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool.
And to see Rocket under the knife is kind of brutal to watch, but it was effective. So I have high hopes for this. The only thing is the next one is going to be really crucified because people will be too quick to say it's nothing like what we saw before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people hate change.
They do.
I know I do.
Mm-hmm. Give me crisp, clean bills any day.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. What's next? Are you excited about or interested in?
Me, I would say something we discussed last night, and that was the portable door. I want to see this. I think it's a great concept, and I believe it'll do well. It's got, I guess their main name is Christoph Waltz, who can play most anything. He can be the good guy, he can be the bad guy. So to me, that's a high point. And I have no doubt that it will do well, mainly because of him. Let's hope that I'm not sucking eggs on this.
If it fails, it won't be because of Christoph Waltz. I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
Dude's brilliant.
Yeah. I'll argue there.
Him being involved in this makes me interested in it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Wasn't there one you liked, Mikey?
I hate everything.
You hated all of them, huh? Even the D&D one?
I didn't catch that one. That was the deal.
Yeah?
Several of them I somehow missed, and I watched the game. I was there in front of the TV. I admit I'm old and I have sleep apnea, so I wasn't awake the whole time. But so there were things I missed. I didn't see a D&D spot. I didn't see the Scream spot either.
Yeah.
Not that I have any interest in Scream at this point. I mean, damn, that should have ended with 3, but honestly, probably should have ended with 2.
Yeah, I was about to say 2. Yeah. Or actually 1, if you want to be honest.
Yeah, the first one was really good. After that, they dwindled fast.
Well, yeah.
I think I saw 4, but I also think I was like nauseous because of it. It was so bad.
I don't remember anything of 4. That's how uninterested I was in that film. I don't remember anything.
I might even be confusing 4 with 3 at this point. I'm not sure, but it's been a while. I suppose we ought to mention Indiana Jones. Though that wasn't the TV spot. I wasn't impressed with the TV spot in and of itself. So I don't know. There wasn't enough there for me to judge anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the shorter trailer shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, if Flash showed too much, Indiana Jones showed nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
it was
to balance it out. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't the main trailer. The main one came out. I don't know how long ago. It's been a few weeks.
I somehow haven't seen it yet.
I'm still excited for it. It looks like it's going to be fun. And they are addressing the elephant in the room, the fact that,
that he's 80 years old now.
Yes.
Still running around like a teenager.
Trying to.
You should have just put him on a rascal and called it good.
Yeah, I would have lined up to see Indiana Jones on a rascal coming to a theater near you.
Indiana Jones and the Blue Plate special.
Denny's Crunch Time.
Dinner at 4, Wheel of Fortune at 6, in bed by 7:30, baby.
I'll post the original trailer on Discord. The thing I thought was incredible because the film literally starts with a flashback to the 40s. So they used the de-aging CGI on him, and it is perfect. It's even better than what they use for Mark Hamill on The Mandalorian. It literally looks like they just lifted footage from 1980, 1981, something like that. I mean, he's even impressed.
Cool.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in Indy, Indy 5. Well, we'll see, because we do have Sala. Sala is back.
Mm-hmm.
That may be it, but I was really hoping that they might bring Marion back, and she may be in there. We just don't know that. That may be something that are holding back.
Could be.
All right. Any other trailers? I did see the D&D. I don't know. I've not been a real big fan of the D&D movies, so
Yeah, it's hard to translate that to the screen.
Yeah.
Right. The trick is finding a story.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised that the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Viola Davis, the Nike one. I don't like Nike. I mean, I'm not all girly. Well, I kind of am into shoes, but not, like name brand and that kind of thing. It didn't look bad, though. I really like Viola Davis, though.
Yeah.
Well, in that it's not really about Michael Jordan.
Right.
It's about
kind of
the deal,
but not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of a lifetime. Could you imagine taking a chance on someone before they even had a name for themselves yet?
Yeah, welcome to the world of sports.
Yeah.
That happens all the
They
time.
definitely made the right call on him. They took a chance and it banged. But from the looks of the trailer, wasn't necessarily him. It was his mama. His mama made him what he is, you know, not just by having him, but business deals and pushing him. And, you know, I kind of would just like to see it just for that end of it.
Mm.
Like I said, I love Viola Davis.
Sounds like, well, that too. She's pretty awesome. But yeah.
She is. Everything I've seen her in is just really, really good.
Okay, any other spots or trailers you want to talk about, or we want to go ahead and move on?
No.
I will throw just a general comment about the commercials.
Okay.
Damn, they pulled out the stops on getting movie stars for these things. I mean, everybody had to have at least like 3 major movie stars in their friggin' commercials. And I'm like, damn, y'all, this is extreme.
I haven't seen all the commercials yet. Usually they put them all in one place, and I haven't seen it yet.
You've been busy.
I was about to say you had other things on your mind, so yes, it's understandable. So, Les, any thoughts from you?
I was a little peeved with the Ben Stiller commercial for Pepsi. I went, this is going a little far. It didn't make me want to drink Pepsi. Just doing various characters that he's played in movies, I'm going, okay. And your point is? So.
Well, part of the deal with that was there were like 3 different spots like that with different actors. There was a Steve Martin one that was the same thing, basically. And another, who the hell was the other one? Do you remember?
No.
There was a third one. I'm not remembering. I'm blanking on who it was right now, but there was a third one. There were at least 3 like that. They were all Pepsi, and they were all exactly the same.
I didn't see the others then. I did like the Affleck commercials for Dunkin' Donuts.
That was funny.
I thought that was very witty.
That was pretty good.
And then they did one of those with all of the stories at one time. And that was pretty cool to see. Especially when his wife shows up. So this is what you do when you say you're going to work?
Yeah, like she's driven a car in the last 30 years. Come on now.
Yeah, true. That's true. But to me, that was pretty innovative.
Yep, that was good.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our main topic then. If you're longtime listeners to the podcast, you know that February is traditionally comedy month. We would have a certain theme to our comedy month. Like last year, we did the Three Stooges, covered the history of the Stooges and all that. For this year, we were going to discuss a few films by Peter Sellers, but unfortunately, it's not going to be a comedy month. It's only going to be a couple of weeks because of obviously some stuff that's been going on behind the scenes and in real life that have shortened that. But that's okay. We're still going to be talking about a couple of fun movies.
Sure.
They might even kind of sequelize this later. But
anyway. Yeah. We might find a way to drag the other films in down the road. So just stay tuned for that. So for this week, we are talking about the 1964 film A Shot in the Dark. And this is...
Oh, sorry. Not the song.
No, not the Ozzy song.
It's not the song.
The Ozzy song was later.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm trying to remember. This was actually originally a play that was. I think they were starting to work on it. It was right around either before the first Pink Panther or something like that. Sellers was not going to he was not happy with the script, and then they were bringing Blake Edwards in. Although he originally turned it down, but he agreed to do it on the condition that they would actually turn it into an Inspector Clouseau film. So I'm kind of curious how the original story was, you know. But it was a good choice because I mean this is a funny film. In addition to bringing Sellers in, they brought Herbert Lom from the Pink Panther series as Inspector Dreyfus, who I think is criminally underrated.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I mean, some of the films that are just not Pink Panther related. I mean, if you've seen the original Lady Killers, if you've seen that, then that's my Exhibit A. Because he was great in that.
Yes.
But we also have George Sanders as Benjamin Ballon,
It's hard to pin down what he is, isn't it? He's the guy who owned the house.
He's the guy who owned the house, but beyond
the
that,
really rich guy who owned the house, the very influential guy who owned the house.
Right.
Also one of the suspects.
Right. But the story goes is Clouseau is been assigned a case. There's a murder at the Ballon estate or whatever, the mansion, and all signs point to Marina Gambrelli, easy for me to say, played by Elke Summer, but Clouseau just totally believes that she's innocent and is trying to find out who the real killer is, and that's where the fun begins. So with that, let's talk a little bit about A Shot in the Dark. Or not.
It was all right. I liked it.
Glowing praise.
What did you not like about it?
What did I not like about it?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm replaying the movie in my head.
This could take a while.
The very opening sequence was kind of confusing.
Okay, no cartoons. Just go ahead with the movie.
No.
Trying to figure out who was going where and who wound up where was kind of confusing in the beginning. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of seen this story before somewhere. But yeah, I liked him. I liked the, I can't remember his name, the captain. I liked the captain guy. I think they played well off of each other. Yeah. Date night was kind of confusing. Bodies dropping and they don't notice nothing.
That's very typical of Clouseau, though.
And I think the best part and the person who stole the show was his assistant, the
Kato?
little Chinese guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kato? Yeah.
He was always getting to train him.
Yeah, even at times when he really shouldn't have needed training. But anyway.
Right. Couple of times there.
Kept attacking him when he's about to get lucky, and it was like, dude, you're sending a weird message here, man. I'm just saying.
Got him when he was naked in the shower.
Mm-hmm. Just for starters. I like this movie. I don't know. I felt weird when it came up when I was getting ready to watch it because I realized I hadn't seen it before, which seemed odd to me because it seems like the kind of movie I would like.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect I know why, and here's where we get to my unpopular opinion. Not really a fan of Peter Sellers' work. I think that's probably why I hadn't watched it. The stuff I have watched some Peter Sellers movies before, and they're very hit or miss. There's some of the choices he makes they just get on my nerves. This was clearly not one of those. This was really funny. It is especially funny if you like. It would be fun to get together a group of people who are really into modern cop shows on TV to have them watch this and watch them watch it, because they would like it way better than they would think they would, I think, because there's a lot of parallels. And mostly this would be just straight up parody of like any of the Law and Order shows or anything like that. It would just be that it's just that kind of thing, which is, I thought, really, I agree with to an extent I agree with Liz. I thought it started a bit slow. I guess it was, well, no, it wasn't. It was after the credit scene. It was the song. They did the credit scene with the animation, which was also very fun. And then they do the confusing dance at the beginning, where people in one house. It took me a while to figure out it was a house. I thought it was an apartment building there for a while.
I thought it was apartments too.
Until I saw it. Until you see it later on in the context of the B'Elanna estate. They're like, oh, these are all in one house. This is the servants' quarters, basically. And the crisscrossing of people. I mean, I think it went on a while. So that made it kind of a slow start. And I also agree that Herbert Lom was brilliant in this movie. I mean, as good as Sellers was at Clouseau, Herbert Lom was brilliant.
Yeah.
Down to the eye twitch.
I had watched this on Amazon, and they do the X-ray thing, and they said that actually that was a natural condition for him. That his left eye really did blink and sometimes would close, and they'd have to do reshoots and stuff because they didn't get it just right, or But they said that was totally natural for him.
Wow. Wouldn't have known. He seemed to control it well. I mean, obviously, if multiple takes are involved, that's something different. But it worked. They managed to pull it off. They got it right.
They did.
However hard it was, they got it right.
See, and I'm curious if that was something they worked into the film or hired him because he was like that. Does that sound weird? You know what I mean, though. If that was
I would assume
meant to be or added because it was that way,
Without having seen the first movie in this series, I wouldn't know for sure.
I don't remember him being.
I don't remember the first.
I don't remember being in the first Pink Panther. But he go ahead, Liz.
You don't remember what about the first Pink Panther?
That Herbert Lom was in it.
Oh yeah.
He was? Okay.
Same part, same role.
Well, yeah. It's been that long since I've seen it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then there's also another scene where, they, spoiler alert, they think the girl in the very first scene is the one who's killing everyone, because more than one person dies in this film.
Mm.
And so he decides he's going to dress up as all these different things to catch her, or, to see if it's her or who she's protecting and everything.
Uh-huh.
Well, one of the things that he dressed up as is and he insisted on this, but he was a balloon seller.
Mm-hmm.
Balloon being, from the guy from the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and Seller, of course, because he was Peter Seller. So I thought that was kind of funny, too. He insisted that gag had to be done.
And hey, they worked it into a series of gags that worked really well, too.
Yeah.
They did.
Good on them.
I liked the arrest scene. Especially the one where they were naked. And so when they show the cop car again, it's all those guys hanging onto the back looking in.
Thought it was an interesting little thing to throw in there too, the whole nudist colony thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I wonder if that was in the original play or if that was something the American director added as a jab at the nudist colony movies that were going on in the States at the time.
Could be. That was funny too, though. Oh, the other cops got back there with their clothes on. And the naked guy with the guitar, he looked familiar. I don't know. X-ray didn't show. They told you who the receptionist guy was, but didn't say who he was. So I'm not sure who he was, but he looked familiar.
Yeah, he was credited.
Was he?
Yeah. He was one of the last ones credited.
Naked guitar guy, or?
Yeah. But he was... They had his name. And, yeah, he was credited with his role.
Yeah. See, if I look up naked guitar guy, it pulls up naked cowboy. That one that sings all over the place.
Yeah, be careful typing the word naked into Google.
Make sure Safe Search is on.
Right. Still come in later to use the computer and be like, what the hell is she looking at now? Naked cowboys.
It's a long story. Don't worry about it.
If you listen to the show, you would know.
It's homework. It's research.
Yeah, there we go. Her throwing us under the bus again. That'd be great. Oh yeah, blame the podcast. That's it. Sure. Yeah.
That would work if he didn't know you, but he knows you guys.
He at least knows you well enough to know that anything is friggin' possible.
He knows I don't need a lot of corrupting, but you know.
Right.
He said it was Brian Forbes. Oh, and I was searching it wrong. He makes an uncredited cameo as the nudist guitar guy.
Well, that's the guy later in the movie. That's what, as you're walking through. Are you talking on about the one that was holding him up at the gate and saying you can't go in like that?
Uh-huh.
But that's a different guy.
Yeah, they were saying that one is, what did I say? Brian Forbes? What is that name? Let's see.
I thought this guy's last name started with a T, or it was just one.
Brian Forbes was credited as Turk Thrust.
Turk Thrust. There you go.
So you're both right.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
So he had 2 parts in this?
No. It was one part.
He was credited under a different name.
But what a part.
Mm-hmm.
And it just struck me as odd for him to be Turk Thrust.
It sounds like a hell of a porn name, doesn't it?
It does. Look for the mustache and all that.
I mean, he did a lot back then.
Mm-hmm.
You guys said porn, and now I'm seeing things like Flesh and Fury.
Well, go ahead and look up Flesh Gordon.
Flesh Gordon. I'm almost scared.
There was a movie, Flesh Gordon. It was a comedy.
It's a thing.
Oh, and he was also a writer of several, probably more than he appeared in.
Oh, thank goodness she's still stuck on Brian Forbes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. ADD mind, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes
Tab
it
is
moves
open.
and sometimes it doesn't, and you can never predict which it is. I speak from experience. I live with a house full of ADD people over here.
Right.
I was kind of struck by the writing credits for this movie. Screenplay by Blake Edwards and William Peter Blatty.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a departure from what he's going to write in a few years. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah, you would not expect this from him. But yeah, with Blake Edwards, to me, this was a great movie. I had a little problem at times with Sellers, but with Edwards pumping out the information, I was pleased with it. I thought it was pretty damn good.
Sellers?
Mm-hmm. Say again?
What didn't you like about Sellers?
I'm going to say some of the reaction to scenes was to me was a little contrived. But that's just kind of a personal quirk I have.
I think some of the jokes that they tried to pull off took too long to tell. When you got to the punchline, it really wasn't worth the time they spent to build up to it, you know.
I agree. To me, they went back to the well way too often with the arrest scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the one with the arrest at the nudist colony. And that just, they did that one. I said, come on, let's do something different. Let's see something else.
Yeah.
Of course, Elke had already appeared in Playboy magazine, so, help us out here, guys.
Yeah. And one of the X-ray things said that she spoke like 14 different languages.
Yes.
And that she was pretty successful. Was she Ukrainian? I can't remember, but she moved And I think when she finally moved over here, she had done a little bit of stage work, but she got her break over here, but
she's German.
I think she had to lean too far into the sex pot to get work over here until she was able to prove herself as more than just a body, Which multilingual, that says a lot. Even today's standard, that's a lot.
That's less rare in Europe than it is here.
Yeah.
That happens a lot more in Europe because there's a lot more languages crammed in a small space.
Yeah. But if you think when we did the show on Bela Lugosi, that was one of his hardest things that he had to overcome and adapt to when he came over here was the language. And by the time she got here, she knew it, which I thought that was pretty cool. And I hate to say it, probably a lot harder for a woman to break through than it was, a man at that time, which is why she had to lean into the sex pot thing,
the body thing, right?
Yeah. And she was a pinup model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I said, I don't see anything wrong with that. She definitely had a beautiful body. I'd show it off too. But yeah, I thought her story was kind of pretty cool. Overcoming,
Mm-hmm. She did pretty well for herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look at her credits; she's got quite a few. But she liked the mystery movies, which they said sometimes was her downfall because she would take a movie that was crap just because she liked the mystery aspect of it.
I wasn't all that fond of Kato. I know he's been in all of them, but
that was another joke they overdid a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I liked him though. He was the joke that happened that they didn't have to work so hard with,
Granted, they didn't have to work all that much to make him the center of attention for it.
Yeah.
But I do believe they overdid it.
In the movie alone, or in the franchise? Because in the franchise, they definitely did.
I think both.
Yeah. Okay.
Personally, I think it would have been fun to do something different.
Switch it up a little bit, yeah.
Well, from the movies I've seen, the cartoon is definitely better.
Ouch. The cartoon is very different, I think.
It is, but some of the clips, of course, mainly the Pink Panther was about the Panther, and it kind of reminded me of like how Mad TV used to do the Spy versus Spy, like a short clip in between the regular stuff that was going on. And anytime they did the Inspector ones, the movie definitely read that way, the way that the cartoon does. So you can definitely tell that the cartoon was definitely, inspired by and kind of went after the movies. But I hadn't seen the movies when I got introduced to the cartoon. So I'm more familiar with those movies.
I think a lot of people in our age group saw the cartoons first.
Yeah.
I mean, a kid wouldn't get that movie.
Not at all. Kids shouldn't watch that movie.
No.
I think this would very heavily relate on sex.
Yeah, pretty much.
People having it with everyone. But yeah.
The beginning of the movie where there was some question as to what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was Blake Edwards.
Oh yeah.
From the word go. And personally, I thought it was very funny. I knew exactly what was going on, not exactly who was what at the time,
Right.
but it all fell into place.
I think it just lasted too long.
Well, it didn't last
You
any
know?
longer than the song did.
Right. Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe the song lasted.
See, and that's honestly that's part of where I got bored with it too, is because it started to feel like a musical,
Yeah.
and I don't do musicals, so it just I
Well, and I understand
got
the
the
point they
point
wanted.
of making the whole
Swinger
swinger
atmosphere.
the whole
Yeah.
affairs on top of affairs thing. They're trying to make the
Yeah.
point of that, which did pay off way later in the movie, but I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked to an extent, but it would have worked if it was half as long too.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I was saying. It took too long for that buildup of a joke. Or they stayed too long with it.
Yeah.
I would probably watch it again if it was on TV,
Oh, sure. I'd watch this again.
I don't know if I'd go out of my way to put it back on, but...
Even though I agree with Les that Peter Sellers does tend to overdo it.
Yeah.
That's not just in this movie either. That's just him.
Yeah.
He oversells it.
Uh,
Sometimes it fits the film, and sometimes it does not.
Yeah.
This was a case where it kind of did.
Now that I've watched this one, I will probably have to watch the series. Thank you guys. But
I just want to see the first one. I don't care about going beyond that. I want to see the first one.
I'm a completist.
I want to see the Pink Panther, but
I thought the first one, I can't remember much about the movie. The thing that stood out to me the most, and it may have been because I was young when I saw it, was the opening scene of the cartoon. I think they put a little bit more into the cartoon of that, and that's why they spun it off as a standalone cartoon. But I think in this one we got that cartoon, but if I remember right, in the first one, the opening scene cartoon kind of told a story of what was going on, what was about to happen in the movie. And I think in the second one here, it was just cartoons with the credits, not really a story, but just different little funny things happening.
Right, lots of explosions.
Yeah.
Lots of things blowing up on Clouseau.
But I think they said from that one was why the cartoon was spun off. If they had done that, if they'd waited on the second one, I don't think it would have made its own cartoon. First one was definitely better. Well, of course, because we saw more of the Panther, too.
Well, we saw the Panther.
Yeah.
In the first one. The Panther did not appear in this one.
Mm-mm. He did at the end on the credits, but...
Did he? I don't know. Maybe.
I think so. Or maybe it was right at the beginning or something. I remember him with the cigarette, but maybe I'm confusing the first one again.
I think maybe.
Yeah. But definitely the theme song. Same theme song.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's another thing we haven't mentioned yet. The music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Henry Mancini.
Oh, man.
Fun stuff.
Well, I think me and Mikey just said we didn't like that first song.
Well, the song,
I don't.
I'm talking about the
been
score,
shorter.
man. The score was great. The score was great.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that song I got bored fast with that.
I'm not sure he had anything involved with that song, but I could be wrong. Maybe the music.
Maybe the music. It might have said in the credits. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to look
I
right now.
think a lot of Beatles while I watch this movie. And the Beatles is nowhere in this movie.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different movie.
And what did you guys say the song was that I was asking about? The French anthem?
Oh, the French
national anthem. Yeah.
Yeah. That's played quite a few times in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, every time I hear that, I think Beatles.
Oh, that's right. That's the connection. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because the Beatles were French, right?
I don't know. Well, see, that's what it kind of surprised me.
They started out as Les Beatles. No, not
as
at all.
What?
Nothing. I was being a smartass.
Oh, I was like,
no,
what?
The deal is,
why did they put the French anthem in that song?
It got your attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because a lot of British, a lot of wealthy British people would escape to France to avoid paying taxes. That would be my guess. Although they went other places than France also, but I'm actually kind of being a smartass again. But I don't know.
Huh.
I think it was just to get people's attention.
Mm-hmm. The title song, The Shadows of Paris, was written by Henry Mancini. The singer is not credited, but contemporary trade reports confirm it was Decca Records recording artist Gina Carroll.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
Yeah. Not a highlight of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
That's okay.
I can understand.
That's okay. They didn't oversell it either. They just played the whole damn thing all up front.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's how they looked at it too. Let's just get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm. We made a commitment.
Upfront
We got to
about
do
what's going to happen here.
We made a commitment. We have to use the song, so let's do it right now. And
hey, for all we know, Blake Edwards went to him and said, "Hey, we need a song because we want to do this scene," and described the scene to him, and he came up with it on the spur of the moment or something, or very quickly. Who knows? We're making this up, but I'm sure it was intentional. But I'm just glad. But there are other movies where they keep going back to the same song over and over again, and again, we'll stay tuned, everybody. We'll get to one of those soon enough. But
yeah,
it's
they should have used "All You Need Is Love." That would have worked in that scene. That's all they needed was some love.
The Beatles didn't play that game, and I don't think that song was out yet when this movie came out. I think All You Need Is Love was later.
Later 60s.
Yeah. I was thinking like 66, 67.
Yeah. But it would have worked.
Sure, we'll go with that.
July 1967, Mikey.
Booyah.
It's 3 years after?
Mm-hmm. They were probably watching this movie when they wrote it.
I was going to say, maybe they were inspired by this.
I have no idea.
I doubt so.
They're like, where's that girl going? Maybe she just needs some love. Yep, because all you need is love.
Uh-huh.
And now, folks, we're into the stretching the storyline here.
We're stretching something, all right. I have to get my hip waders out because damn.
We're reaching the point where I think I need to take control and say, let's take a break.
No, I like where this is going. Let's continue.
Okay.
Les has always been a big fan of Nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere, man.
That's what I was saying. That's a Beatles song, too.
I thought I'd get a response with that.
Very nice. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this being a sequel, or we may have, but you don't have to. It's not the kind of movie that you need to watch the first one in order to understand the second one. Maybe a little bit of character development, but not.
Oh yeah, they explain pretty damn quickly all the character development you need.
You get caught up.
This definitely works standalone. Like I said, I haven't seen the sequel. I haven't seen the first one, so I'll fix that soon.
I am going to ask. Clouseau. Clouseau falls for the girl. He falls for the girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Was he not married in Pink Panther?
He was, but I don't want to spoil it for those who have not seen the movie. You know, things did not end well for Clouseau, if you might remember. And then one of the later movies, what was her name? The actress. Anyway, she shows up, huh?
Elfie
Clouseau's wife.
Oh. Don't know.
Anyway, she shows up in one of the, I think it was the one film that they did after Sellers had passed. They also had David Niven, who was in the first one. They got married at some point.
Okay.
So she obviously divorced him. She obviously divorced him, and then married David Niven's character.
Simone.
Yeah. Or no, it was Capunce. Or is that it?
Cappuccini.
Anyway, that's her. That played Clouseau's wife. But yeah, I think it's Trail of the Pink Panther or something like that. That's she makes an appearance, and David Niven makes an appearance because they were talking. Because in that movie, essentially, Clouseau's missing, so someone's trying to. Yeah, they're doing. I don't remember if they're doing a special or if it's a police investigation. It's been a bit, but I just remember that's how they explain how Clouseau's not in the film, is he's missing. But this person visited them, and they established that they're married. So they obviously got a divorce at some point. So he was probably free at that point.
Very complicated.
I'm sure I didn't help things, but that's okay.
No, you did.
So definitely check the film out. I think it's a fun film. So on that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with Geek News for You. And we're back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple items to the table for discussion. And for this week, it is Les and myself. And Les, would you mind going first, please?
Thank you, sir. My news for you was about, I'm going to say, 10 days ago on Screen Rant. They ran an article about DC having the one hero who can rival Marvel's entire universe. I'm putting this out there for us and for the listener. This is the character Space Ghost that DC currently has control of. And to this article, they're saying that the miniseries, 6-issue miniseries that was done in 2005, it showed you that this character should be leaned on for more than just this 6-issue series. It's, of course, Space Ghost was essentially a space opera. And it was that in the old TV series as well. This was, of course, this was in the 60s, prior to Space Ghost talk show.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another issue that Space Ghost shared with another DC character, and that was Green Lantern. They did a special of the two of them. So you've got Space Ghost teaming with a guardian of the Sector 2814. And to me, that means that not only is Space Ghost canon to DC, but it's a character they need to bring out and use more often. Have a 12-issue series, or make it an ongoing series, even close to like Detective Comics series with Space Ghost at the forefront. I think it's just a great idea to maybe pit some of these characters against one another, and please, DC, do not do what Marvel does and have the two good guys fight for half the comic and then go, oh, you're a good guy, I need to go find the bad guy and take it out on him. So that's what I brought.
Interesting. Something I hadn't thought of.
I mean, why the hell not, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It could be fun to take things in a slightly different direction. An excuse to go out into outer space a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't involve the stigma of a Green Lantern movie at this point.
Well, even if we've talked about it before, if DC would go out and use their space characters a little more often, I would like to see that kind of revival. Maybe as a comic of chapters, and that way you get Space Cabbie and the Adam Strange and the group of, trying to remember the characters that were trying to solve mysteries and never got it right, but they were so entertaining. But I'd like to see DC bring that stuff back.
Hell yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, be nice to see like Captain Comic come back, and some of the other. Like, when's the last time they used Tommy Tomorrow with the original Crisis? Maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
You figure some of these would start popping up again just so they can make sure that they can keep control over the trademark and all that kind of stuff. That seems to be something they're really good at doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that would be neat. Okay. For me, I have a couple. I've actually held on to these for a little bit. One of these, this was announced, when was this back? Toward the end of the year. Although, as we're recording, it's Valentine's Day, so it's not that real long ago. But we are actually going to get a sequel to Winnie the Pooh: Blood and Honey.
Yay.
And actually, as this drops, it is doing a stint on the movie theaters. It starts on the 15th and runs through the 23rd of February. So you can actually go see this in the theaters instead of on streaming. So this kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised, but yet I'm not, since there's development on like a Pinocchio version of this, and Peter Pan, and some of the other ones that have already been discussed and are in some sort of development. The fact that they're doing a sequel to this, and the whole premise is Christopher Robin leaves the group to go to college and all that, and then he comes back sometime years later, only to find out Winnie and Piglet have essentially become cannibals and kill. If you see the trailer, there is a little sequence where I think it's Christopher's girlfriend is walking by, and you see this little sign that's stuck in the ground that says "Rip Eeyore." So they killed Eeyore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised. But obviously there is an audience to this, and hey, if they're having a good time, then okay. And everybody else just has their jaw on the forehead.
Not sure how to respond to this, really.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that they're going to release the movie at the theater?
Yeah, they're for a limited time from February 15th through the 23rd. It's going to be in the theaters.
And that's the original that they're showing?
The first one, yes.
Okay.
And then they're working on the sequel. Or they're teasing that they're working on a sequel. So, but I mean, if they're teasing, come on. They're doing it. If it's done enough money, then yeah, they'll do the sequel. So, my second news item has a very misleading headline, but I wanted to bring it up because it's actually I think it's a legitimate question. The misleading headline is why Bruce Timm was never offered a live-action film after Batman the Animated Series. And the reason why I say this is misleading is because the article never states why this happened. Tim was doing an interview, and he advised that he never got a call about seeing if he was interested in doing a live action movie, and he wasn't even sure if he would do it. He would have to think about it. And he said if I had been a little bit more ambitious and a little less lazy, I would have hired an agent and actively explored that option. But I'm kind of lazy, and I like doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
So nowhere in this it says that Warner Brothers even thought about going to Tim about doing a live-action Batman film. It just has Tim talking about, well, they never approached me. I never thought about it. I've moved on. Maybe I would have done it. Maybe I wouldn't have. And honestly, I wish they had.
Could have been interesting, yeah.
It would have been.
I agree. I think this would have been a great point at which to do this, because the popularity of the animated series would have made sure everything was done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There wouldn't have been a huge gap and say, well, this is the real. Don't listen to that. This is the real. Pay attention to it. I would like to have seen it.
Yeah.
Yep, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mask of Phantasm, in a lot of people's minds, is the best Batman movie of them all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would have been great, but I mean, there's still a possibility, but I think he's who knows. Never say never, but
But it seems unlikely.
It seems unlikely.
If he's already said that he went on to do his other work and he was happy,
yeah,
then don't expect a huge fan base try to tell him to do it, because he's done. He's done what he wants.
Yeah. All right. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
Nope, don't think so.
Nothing here.
Okay. We'll move on to our regular shout-outs. Excuse me. Want to shout out Pop Goes the Culture Podcast Network for allowing us to be part of a great group of fellow podcasts. We highly recommend that you check them out. There'll be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women that make up Podern Family on Twitter, who have been so gracious as to spread the word of the fellowship by retweeting our links. And the best way to do that is go to Twitter and do a search, #PodernFamily, and just scroll through whatever catches your attention. You click on that link and download that episode. We hope you have a good time listening. Thank you guys as always. Our music's been supplied by Manny the Martyr. Definitely check them out. We'll have a link in our show notes. Thank you guys. You rock. Dun 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 dun. Sorry. I caught. I'm trying to wake up my co-hosts, my team that are asleep. So, and finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, observations, what have you, please send them our way. Our email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website and click on the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out. I didn't mention this earlier, but we do have a Discord that's open to everybody. We do have a channel in there specifically for feedback. In addition to that, we do have things for news items, stuff for discussions, fun stuff, videos, all that kind of stuff. Come check it out. Discord's free to sign up. It's in every app store. We have an open invitation on our homepage on the website. On social media, we are the Fellowship of the Geeks. We are on Instagram, Hive Social, and Twitter. We are at Fellowship Geeks. Feel free to follow us there. If you want to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at Tom TC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you would be so kind as to rate and review our show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Yep, thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. Until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,